Okay, here we are. Today I want to introduce you to my brand new canvas, pure cotton canvas, absolutely lovely. It's a 48 by 36 inch canvas, not too big, it's moderate size. We'll be using acrylic paint. We'll be using a whole stack of old brushes and a hose pipe to spray off the paint. This painting is going to change a lot, so stick with me, let's have a journey and let's begin. Well, this is really exciting. I have to wear a cap, let's put it this way around. With abstract painting, you're focusing on the elements of art, so it's line, shape, tone, color, texture, and in this case we're using gravity as a presentation of the paint. So I have a color which is a little bit like a burnt umber with white, and not that mixed up, just a little bit creamy. And I'm going to start by splattering the paint onto the canvas. Okay, so this is what I'm doing, using gravity, remember, and that's a very important aspect. And what I'm concentrating on is the edge of the canvas. And remember what we might have said earlier, this is going to change. It's going to change a lot. I would say the whole process is going to be about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, but keep an open mind. I know this looks like a 2-year-old could do it, and they probably could, but you must keep an eye on tone, shape, texture. In this instance, you're going to leave it for about a few minutes. Let's say it's very hot, so it's going to dry very quickly, but I'm watching it all the time. Okay, try not to be too deliberate, try not to make a tree, or try not to make an apple. We're just using this material, and we're putting this material onto another piece of material. Okay, so that's looking nice already. I like it. Don't forget to mix up enough paint. Don't be afraid to have a little bit of paint wasted. And you also don't have to use up all the paint. If you've done enough, stop. You can always use this color later on again. I don't think, try not to make it too wet. You know, in the sense of the coverage being so wet. This I'm happy with, looks good so far. And I think we see you in the next cartoon. Okay, we're back again to show you the first layer that was put on probably about 5 minutes ago. What I've had to do is I've had to lift this corner with a piece of polystyrene or piece of block or something, so that it's as flat as possible, because I saw running happening, and I don't want drips, I don't want running. Okay, the next thing I want to point out to you is, if you look at an area like this and this, these are still very wet. Okay, but the lighter areas have dried. Now when I get to the hose pipe, which is going to be right now, I'm going to be softly spraying it and watching what happens to these holes, and they're going to be brushing off or blowing off with the water most of the wet paint. So we're turning on the hose pipe with a bit of a jet like that, and okay. Okay, back again. And what I wanted to do now was really push the contrast, go to a dark color. Of course this color will be washed off again and covered with other colors, so we're just building up, slowly building up. Okay, we've also had our first water spray, so you try not to have too much excess water on the canvas. And where the water is a little excessive, it's going to spread, which is not bad. There's some nice marks. Try and repeat the marks that are good. Try and repeat the marks that are good, yeah? And remember, we've got line, form, tone, texture, color, all the elements of art, and of course our gravity. And I'm going to be concentrating on the edges. I can always fill the middle up later, but I'm concentrating on the edges. And now we have a nice tone coming in. And that's it. Wait until the next one. Okay, what we've done is we've added a darker tone, and some of the water was pooling on the canvas here, and you can see this area here has created its own pattern. I like what's happening, but I'm going to watch it all the time. This area here is drying already, so we're going to get back to the water. Okay? What we're doing now is we are spraying off the dark tonal color, which is not black, by the way. It's not black. It's black with a little bit of blue and a little bit of white. What I want you to notice is these marks that are happening here. And obviously the harder the spray, the more paint is going to be lifted up off your canvas. We're back again. Welcome back. The next stage of this video is introducing color. Slightly thicker paint, and what I want to point out is this is the point where you take risks. Take a risk. Try not to get too precious about your painting, and take it to the next level, and let's see how it goes. Yellow ochre with white, and I'm really going to layer the paint on. And you see how the colors bringing in a totally different element into the painting, and I'm liking what I see. So far so good. Yeah. And I'm putting it on really thickly because I want it to blast away. When this is dry enough, it must really make craters of paint. See you next time. Okay, what we're seeing here is a detail of one of the corners of the painting. I wanted to show you because there are wet areas in that yellow ochre patch, and there are areas that are drying. And you see where the wet areas are, is going to be a little glossy and shiny from the sun. And the matte areas are the dry areas. Now we're just about to use the hosepipe, and we're going to blast away the yellow ochre. Okay, this portion of the video is probably the most exciting. Heavy paint, a little bit of added color, and now I'm going to really blast it away, and you'll see the shapes that nice this is. This is amazing. So you want to watch it as you're going. Don't just blast the whole canvas. Now find happening is there's a tremendous amount of water on here, and the wet paint is going to spread, and I don't really want that. I'm just going to watch it a little bit, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swing the canvas and try and get that excess water right off without changing the general color. So I'm going to swing it like that, bang it like that, trying to get it to run off as quickly as possible. I'm not even looking at the painting, I'm just hoping for the best. That's what's so nice about abstract. And don't touch the painting with your hands or a paintbrush, just leave it just like that. And I think it's working really well. I'm happy with the result. One more step and then we're done. And then we edge the painting and sign it. Cheerio! Okay, we're ready for the final stage of the application of the paint. So it's going to be a little bit tricky, but this is light in tone. It's not white. There's a tiny bit of black in here and white acrylic paint. So now this should be the final layer, and I am going to go a little carefully, but what it's doing is it's going to lighten the entire painting, give us a bit more of a sparkly, almost like a starry effect. And of course you keep watching, keep looking at your painting. It's not just throwing paint on, it's actually placing it on. And of course don't touch the painting with your brush, and don't touch your painting with your hand. So I'm really layering it on. Kind of keep an eye on the edges, But this is starting to really sparkle up. And you can see it's not pure white. Okay, and I think we might be coming to the end. Remember to wash your shoes if you're wearing shoes. As you can see, I'm not wearing shoes because acrylic paint doesn't wash off once it's dry. Okay, and I'm very satisfied with that painting. What I'm going to do now is we are going to leave it a long time to dry, and then I'm going to spray it one more time, and then we're going to edge the painting so that it's neat on the edge. Maybe sign the painting on the edge, on the edge, not in the middle, not in the front of the painting. And then we are going to glaze coat with a clear glaze coat, and it's going to suddenly bring the texture up, and it's going to bring the contrast up, and it might even pick the color up a little, and then we're done. Okay, thanks very much for watching. It's been wonderful. Take this technique further, use it, play around with it, and see you soon. Okay, we're right here at the very end. I like glazing the painting, and if you're not sure of what glaze coat is, it's a milky white substance like this, but it dries completely clear, and it's matte. I don't like the glossy painting finish, and it protects the surface of the painting from little scratches and dust, and it also enhances the tone and the contrast between the colors to some degree. So there we go, glaze coat. Just a very thin coating of the glaze.
I think that's...
So what we're doing now is virtually the last thing besides the signature, and that is taking normal white PVA, good quality white PVA. Hold your canvas from the back, okay, and you are then going to be flicking the paint. Try and avoid painting like that. You can't get a nice straight line. And what I'm doing is I'm taking all those drip marks that happened with the original painting, and I'm taking care of each one of those and neatening up the edge. And what we do is we're probably going to paint this side, let it dry a little, and then paint the next side. Let's just fetch more paint. Here we go. There's more paint. So it's just neatening up this corner, the front corner. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's nice because if there's dust over time, you can wipe it off, and it makes a clean edge. So it looks like that. Okay. Nearly finished. I think that's it. Okay, so what we're doing, we're at the very last point, and that's to sign your name. So I'm going to sign my name, try and stabilize the canvas. I've got a size 3 pointy brush. A rigger is a good one. And what I do is I sign my name in capital letters. So Denis. And the reason we don't sign it on the front is fairly obvious, because your name is going to get lost. It's going to get lost in all the abstraction, in the clutter, the different colors. I try and charge my brush every letter. So I've got a long name, Denis Hilton Lees. Try and charge it with full paint, and might sound funny or weird or strange, but concentrate on the spelling of your own name. Sometimes we concentrate so much on the painting of the name that we forget how to spell our own name. I've done that before. Okay, so that's what my name would be, on the edge of the painting, not inside. People will look for your name. It doesn't have to be too big, and it doesn't have to be too glaring on the painting. People will look for your name. Thank you for watching.